Hello everyone. Welcome to this presentation where we will be discussing 5 key assessments related to Laravel and web development. These assessments cover a range of important topics including form handling, security measures, middleware, authentication, CRUD operations, integration of services like Google reCAPTCHA and OTP, and how to enhance user experience through effective error handling and validations. Throughout this presentation, I will walk you through the main concepts and provide a detailed understanding of how these features contribute to building secure, efficient, and user-friendly web applications. Let's dive into each one of these topics one by one. This presentation will guide you through the essential concepts and best practices of web development using the Laravel framework. What we'll learn is the importance of form handling, validation, and security. Laravel's robust authentication system and middleware, CRUD operations in Laravel, enhancing security with Google reCAPTCHA, and strengthening authentication with OTP functionality. Also, for the objective, by the end of this presentation, you'll gain the knowledge and skills to build secure and scalable web applications, leverage Laravel's features for efficient and maintainable development, and enhance user experience and application security with advanced techniques. So let's start for the first topic of the first assessment, which is understanding form handling and validation in web development, ensuring data integrity and security with Laravel. In this assessment, we will explore the critical aspects of form handling and validation in web development, focusing on their importance for data integrity and security. We will delve into key Laravel features that help prevent security vulnerabilities, such as structured query language, injection, and cross-site request forgery. Additionally, we will discuss how to create a basic form in Laravel using a blade template, handle its submission in a controller, and define validation rules. We will also examine the benefits of customizing validation error messages to improve user experience and the advantages of centralizing validation logic in Laravel applications for better maintainability. So let's dive into the first question. Why is form handling and validation important in web development, particularly in terms of data integrity and security? Well, form handling and validation are crucial in web development because they ensure that the data collected from users is accurate, complete, and secure. Proper form handling allows web applications to process user input correctly, while validation ensures that the data meets the required criteria and is free from errors. This helps maintain data integrity by preventing issues such as incorrect data types, incomplete information, and duplicate entries. Additionally, form validation protects against common security threats like SQL injection and cross-site scripting or XSS by sanitizing user input and preventing malicious data from being processed. Form handling and validation play a vital role in web development. They ensure that the data collected from users is accurate, complete, and secure. When we talk about data integrity, form validation helps maintain it by securing the data entered by users is in the correct format and meets the required criteria. This prevents issues like such as incorrect data types, incomplete information, and duplicate entries. On to the next question. What are some key Laravel features that help prevent security vulnerabilities such as SQL injection and cross-site request forgery or CSRF when handling form data. Laravel provides several features to prevent security vulnerabilities, including SQL injection and cross-site request forgery. For SQL injection prevention, Laravel uses eloquent ORM and prepared statements to ensure user input is properly escaped. For CSRF protection, Laravel automatically generates a CSRF token for each active user session, which is included in all forms and verified by the server upon submission. Question number 3. Explain how would you create a basic form in Laravel using a blade template and handle its submission in a controller. To create a basic form in Laravel, we start by creating a blade template with a form that includes input fields and a submit button. For example, in this image. Next, we create a controller to handle the form submission and define validation rules. In this example, the form data is validated to ensure that the name field is required, a string, and has a maximum length of 255 characters, and the email field is required, a valid email address, and has a maximum length of 255 characters also. How can customizing validation error messages improve the user experience in a web application? Customizing validation error messages can improve the user experience by providing clear and specific feedback. In this example, custom error messages are provided for the name and email fields, making it clear to the user what needs to be corrected. For example, we can customize and display validation error messages in a blade template like this. For the final question, for the assessment 1, what are the benefits of centralizing validation logic in Laravel applications, and how does this contribute to the maintainability of a web application? Centralizing validation logic in Laravel applications ensures consistency by applying the same rules across the application, reducing errors and inconsistencies. It also enhances maintainability by keeping validation logic in one place, making it easier to update and manage. This approach simplifies the process and reduces the likelihood of bugs, contributing to a more robust and manageable web application. And for the conclusion, form handling and validation are essential in web development for ensuring data integrity and security. Laravel offers robust features to prevent security vulnerabilities such as SQL injection and cross-site request forgery through object relational mapping or ORM, prepared statements, and CSRF tokens. Creating forms in Laravel involves using blade templates and handling submissions in controllers, with validation rules ensuring data integrity and security. Customizing validation error messages improves user experience by providing clear feedback. Centralizing validation logic in Laravel applications ensures consistency and maintainability, making it easier to update and manage. Overall, effective form handling and validation are crucial for building secure and reliable web applications, leveraging Laravel's features and best practices. So let's head to the next assessment. The second topic or the second assessment is all about enhancing security and scalability in Laravel authentication, protecting routes and managing user authentication efficiently. In this section, we will explore how to enhance security and scalability in Laravel's authentication system. We'll cover the role of middleware in protecting routes and resources, understand the mechanisms behind user registration and login, and discuss the importance of security measures like SQL injection prevention and XSS protection. Additionally, we'll learn how to create and apply custom middleware to restrict access based on user roles and examine strategies for scaling Laravel's authentication system to handle a growing number of users and requests. By understanding these key concepts, we can build more secure, efficient, and scalable web applications using Laravel. So let's dive in and ensure our web applications are secure, efficient, and scalable. For the first question, what is the role of middleware in Laravel's authentication system and how does it help protect routes and resources from unauthorized access? Middleware in Laravel acts as a filter for HTTP requests entering your application. In the context of authentication, middleware ensures that only authenticated users can access certain routes and resources. For example, the auth middleware checks if a user is authenticated before allowing access to protected routes. If the user is not authenticated, they are redirected to the login page. This helps protect sensitive data and resources from unauthorized access. Question number 2. How does Laravel's built-in authentication system handle user registration and login, including the management of session tokens and the validation of input data? Laravel's built-in authentication system provides a simple and secure way to handle user registration and login. During registration, user input is validated to ensure it meets the required criteria. Once validated, the user's data is stored in the database, and the session token is generated to keep the user logged in. During login, the system verifies the user's credentials and, if valid, generates a session token to maintain the user's authenticated state. Laravel also provides features like password hashing and email verification to enhance security. Explain the importance of security measures like SQL injection prevention and XSS protection in login registration forms. And how does Laravel assist in preventing these vulnerabilities? Security measures like SQL injection prevention and cross-site scripting protection are crucial in login and registration forms to prevent malicious attacks. SQL injection can allow attackers to manipulate database queries, while XSS can inject malicious scripts into web pages. Laravel assists in preventing these vulnerabilities by using eloquent ORM and prepared statements to prevent SQL injection, and by skipping output data to prevent XSS attacks. Additionally, Laravel's validation system helps ensure that user input is safe and meets the required criteria. For question number 4, how would you create and apply custom middleware in Laravel to restrict access to specific routes based on user roles, such as an admin-only route? To create and apply custom middleware in Laravel to restrict access based on user roles, we must follow these steps. The first step is to create the middleware using artisan command php artisan make double colon middleware check admin. Second step, in the middleware class, define the logic to check the user's role. Third is to register the middleware in app-http-kernel.php by adding it to the $root middleware array. And the last step is to apply the middleware to the routes you want to protect in routes-web.php. To restrict access to specific routes based on user roles in Laravel, you need to create custom middleware. First, use the artisan command to generate the middleware. Then in the middleware class, define the logic to check if the user has the required role. If the user is an admin, the request proceeds. Otherwise, they are redirected to the home page. After defining the logic, register the middleware in the kernel.php file. Finally, apply the middleware to the routes you want to protect in the web.php file. This process ensures that only users with the specified role, such as admin, can access certain routes. And for the last question, in terms of scalability, how can Laravel's authentication system be adapted to handle a growing number of users and requests? To handle a growing number of users and requests, Laravel's authentication system can be adapted in several ways. First one is session management. Use a distributed session store like Redis or Memcache to manage sessions across multiple servers, ensuring scalability and reliability. Second one is token-based authentication. Implement token-based authentication to handle stateless authentication, reducing the load on the server and improving scalability. Third one is caching. Cache frequently accessed data, such as user roles and permissions, to reduce database queries and improve performance. And last one is load balancing. Distribute incoming requests across multiple servers using a load balancer to ensure even distribution of traffic and prevent server overload. And for the conclusion of the assessment 2, in conclusion, enhancing security and scalability in Laravel's authentication system is crucial for building robust web applications. We explored the role of middleware in protecting routes and resources, the mechanisms behind user registration and login, and the importance of security measures like SQL injection prevention and XSS protection. Additionally, we discussed creating and applying custom middleware to restrict access based on user roles and examine strategies for scaling Laravel's authentication system to handle a growing number of users and requests. And let's head to the next assessment. The third topic for the third assessment is enhancing CRUD operations in Laravel, mastering create, read, update, and delete functions. In this section, we will delve into the core CRUD operations in Laravel. We will explore the key steps for implementing the create operation, the importance of data validation and sanitization, and how to implement the read operation. Additionally, we'll discuss the purpose of the update operation and ensuring the security of the delete operation. By mastering these essential CRUD operations, you'll be well equipped to build secure and efficient web applications with Laravel. So let's dive in and get started. For the first question, what are the key steps involved in implementing the create operation in Laravel? And how do blade views and form handling play a role in this process? The create operation is one of the essential parts of a CRUD application, allowing users to add new data to the database. Laravel makes this operation easy through its MVC architecture, where blade views handle the front-end form display, and form handling ensures that the data gets securely submitted and stored in the database. First, you need to define routes in the web.php file. The get route is responsible for displaying the form, and the post route handles the form submission. These routes are linked to specific controller methods. Second, in the controller, the create method is used to return the blade view that contains the form for adding new records. The method ensures that when the user visits the form page, they see the correct view. Third, the blade view is the front end part where you design the form. The form includes input fields and the CSRF directive to protect against CSRF attacks. Once the form is submitted, the store method is responsible for handling the form data. This method validates the user input, ensuring it is correct and meets the necessary criteria. After validation, the data is saved to the database using the Eloquent model. The post model represents the data structure and communicates with the database. The $sign fillable property in the model ensures secure mass assignment, meaning only the fields listed in $sign fillable can be mass assigned. And in Laravel, migrations are used to define the database structure. By creating a migration, you specify the table's columns, such as title and content, so that Laravel can create the corresponding table in the database. The create operation in Laravel involves a seamless interaction between routes, controllers, bleed views, and database models. The routes define how users interact with the form, while the controller is responsible for processing the form data. Blade views make the user interface dynamic and secure by including CSRF protection. Data validation ensures only valid input is stored, and the Eloquent model simplifies the database interactions. These steps create a smooth and secure process for adding data. For the second question, explain the importance of data validation and sanitization in CRUD operations, and how does Laravel ensure security when handling user input during these operations. Data validation and sanitization are crucial for protecting your application from malicious inputs and ensuring that the data entering your system is both valid and safe. It also provides robust tools for validation and sanitization to ensure that user input is handled securely before it is processed or stored. Validation ensures that the data entered by the user follows certain rules. For example, you can check if an email address is in the correct format or if a password meets length requirements. This prevents invalid data from being entered into the database. Data sanitization removes potentially harmful input, such as malicious code or scripts, which can be used for attacks like XSS or SQL injection. Laravel automatically escapes outputs, preventing such attacks from being executed. Laravel also includes built-in protection against cross-site request forgery attacks. This is done by adding a CSRF token to every form, ensuring that the form submission is from a legitimate user. The CSRF blade directive is used to include this token. Laravel's Eloquent ORM automatically uses parameterized queries to prevent SQL injection. This means that the user input is safely inserted into SQL queries, reducing the risk of malicious code execution. Data validation and sanitation are essential for maintaining the security and integrity of your web application. Laravel provides powerful tools to ensure that the user input is valid and safe. By using the validate method, CSRO protection, and eloquent ORM, Laravel protects your application from common security vulnerabilities like XSS, SQL injection, and data corruption. These measures are automatically handled by Laravel, making the development process more secure and less error prone. For the third question, describe how you would implement the read operation in Laravel to retrieve and display data from the database using both a controller method and a blade view. The read operation allows you to fetch data from the database and present it to the user. In Laravel, this operation is made easy with the eloquent ORM, which, which simplifies retrieving data. Blade views then allow you to dynamically display the data in a structured and user-friendly way. The first step is to define a route in the web.php file that links to the controller method for retrieving the data. This route responds to a GET request, allowing users to view the data. In the controller's index method, use Eloquent's all method or other query methods like paginate to retrieve data from the database. Pass this data to a blade view. In the blade view, use for each to loop through the $post variable and display each post title and content. Blades allows you to display the data dynamically. If you have many records, it's important to paginate the results for better user experience. Laravel provides a simple paginate method that splits the results into pages. The read operation in Laravel allows you to fetch data from the database and display it using blade views. Eloquent ORM simplifies the data retrieval process, which blade templates provide an easy way to loop through and display the results. Pagination helps manage large data sets by dividing them into smaller chunks, making them easier for users to navigate. For the fourth question, what is the purpose of the update operation in Laravel? And how would you handle form submissions to modify existing data entries in the database? The update operation in Laravel allows you to modify existing records in the database. This operation is part of the CRUD cycle, enabling users to make changes to previously stored data. The process typically involves retrieving the existing data, presenting it in a form where users can edit it, and then updating the database with the new information. And to handle form submissions for updating existing data, the process includes retrieving the existing record from the database based on its ID, displaying the record in a form with pre-filled values based on the current data, validating the user input to ensure the data is correct and secure, and saving the changes back to the database. Laravel also provides a simple way to manage form submissions, including built-in validation features and tools like Eloquent for interacting with the database. By using the update method on the Eloquent model, you can easily apply changes to a record after validating the user input. The update operation is crucial in many applications because users frequently need to modify existing data. In Laravel, the framework makes the process simple by utilizing routes, controllers, and blade views to display and update data. By using the find or fail method, Laravel ensures that you are working with a valid record, and through built-in validation, you can secure the data before it's updated. This makes the update process straightforward and secure for both developers and users. For the last question of the assessment, how can you ensure that the delete operation in Laravel is secure and prevents accidental or unauthorized data removal? and what role does validation play in this process? The delete operation in Laravel allows for the removal of data from the database. However, it's critical to ensure that this operation is secure to prevent accidental or unauthorized deletion. Laravel provides several tools and techniques to make sure that the deletion is done safely and under the correct conditions. It also allows you to define routes for deleting records. It is essential to ensure that only authorized users can access these routes. This can be achieved using middleware to check for authorization before executing the delete action. You can also use policies or gates in Laravel to authorize the user before allowing them to delete a record. For example, the destroy method can check if the user is allowed to delete the post based on ownership or role. Laravel also provides a soft delete feature, which marks records as deleted without actually removing them from the database. This ensures that you can restore records if they were deleted by mistake. Enable soft deleting in the Eloquent model by adding the soft deletes trait. Laravel also provides a soft delete feature. Then to delete a post, you can use the delete method, which will softly delete the record, and you can restore it later with the restore method. To prevent accidental deletion, it's good practice to ask users for confirmation before deleting a record. This can be done by displaying a confirmation dialog in the UI before sending the actual delete request. In Bleed, you can use a JavaScript for this confirmation. While validation is often associated with data creation and updating, it also plays a role in ensuring that the data exists before attempting to delete it. For example, if a record is not found, you can throw an exception or return an error message. The find or fail method ensures that you're working with a valid record. The delete operation in Laravel needs to be carefully handled to ensure data integrity and prevent unauthorized or accidental deletions. By using middleware, authorization checks, and soft deletes, Laravel makes it easy to secure the delete operation. Middleware ensures that only authorized users can delete records, while soft deletes provide a safety net for accidentally removed data. Additionally, confirming delete actions with the user and validating that the record exists further safeguards the process. These steps help ensure that the deletion is a secure, intentional, and reversible action. Also, for the conclusion of the third topic, from creating and updating records to safely retrieving and deleting data, Laravel offers powerful tools and features to ensure data integrity, security, and efficiency. By utilizing blade views and form handling, validating user input, and applying authorization checks, Laravel enables developers to build secure and user-friendly applications. These practices help streamline data management, protect against unauthorized access, and ensure a smooth user experience when interacting with the database. Now let's head to the next topic. The fourth topic or assessment is all about Google reCAPTCHA integration in Laravel, enhancing web application security with reCAPTCHA in forms. In this assessment, we will focus on integrating Google reCAPTCHA into Laravel applications to improve security by preventing bot interactions with forms. reCAPTCHA is essential for protecting web applications from automated submissions, such as spam and fake registrations. We will cover the key concepts of reCAPTCHA, including its purpose in securing forms, the process of obtaining and registering the necessary site and secret keys, and how to integrate it into a Laravel application. Additionally, we'll discuss how to validate reCAPTCHA responses and ensure their authenticity, as well as the importance of customizing error messages to enhance user experience when reCAPTCHA verification fails. For the first question, what is the purpose of Google reCAPTCHA and how does it enhance the security of a web applications when integrated with forms? The purpose of Google reCAPTCHA is to differentiate between human users and automated bots. It protects web applications from malicious activities such as spam submissions, fake registrations, and brute force attacks. When integrated with forms, reCAPTCHA ensures that only legitimate human users can submit data, preventing abuse from automated bots. reCAPTCHA is a security service that helps prevent bots from filling out forms, thereby protecting your web application from unwanted or malicious data. It also enhances security by verifying that the interaction is performed by a human before allowing form submission. This is especially important in user registration forms, login pages, and any form that can be exploited for spam or bot driven attacks. Second question, describe the process of obtaining and registering reCAPTCHA site and secret keys from Google. And why is it important to update the domain when moving from localhost to production environment? To obtain and register reCAPTCHA site and secret keys, we must follow these steps. First, we must go to Google reCAPTCHA website and sign in with our Google account and register a new reCAPTCHA. Choose the type of reCAPTCHA and provide your website's domain name. And after registration, Google will provide a site key and a secret key. Why is it important to update the domain? When moving from localhost to production environment, the domain name changes. The reCAPTCHA service is domain specific. So if the domain is not updated, the reCAPTCHA will fail because it will not recognize the new domain. Google reCAPTCHA uses the domain as a security measure to prevent misuse. For the system to work properly in production, the domain you register on Google must match to the actual domain where the form is hosted. If you don't update the domain, users may face issues completing the reCAPTCHA, and submissions could be blocked. Third question, how would you integrate reCAPTCHA into a Laravel form? Outline the steps from installing the necessary package to adding the reCAPTCHA field in the form. To integrate reCAPTCHA into a Laravel form, the first step is to use Composer to install a Laravel reCAPTCHA package such as Google-reCAPTCHA or Anscobo-no CAPTCHA. Second step, in the .env file, add your site key and secret key. Then in your blade view, include the reCAPTCHA widget inside the form. And in your controller, validate the reCAPTCHA input. Integrating reCAPTCHA involves installing the right package, adding your Google reCAPTCHA site and secret keys, displaying the widget in your form, and validating the response in your Laravel controller. These steps ensure the form is protected from bot submissions. Fourth question. Explain how to validate reCAPTCHA responses in Laravel and what role do the reCAPTCHA secret keys play in this validation process. In Laravel, reCAPTCHA responses are validated by sending the user's response to Google's reCAPTCHA API, where it is verified using the secret key. The secret key is used to securely communicate between the server and Google's API to confirm that the response is legitimate. And to validate reCAPTCHA in Laravel, the first step is to install the reCAPTCHA package. Next is to use the built-in validation rule for reCAPTCHA. And the secret key is crucial because it's used on the server side to verify that the reCAPTCHA response sent from the user is valid. If the response is not valid, the validation will fail, preventing the form submission. For the last question, how can customizing error messages for failed reCAPTCHA attempts improve user experience? Customizing error messages for failed reCAPTCHA attempts helps provide clear, actionable feedback to the user. Instead of a generic error, a custom message can tell the user exactly what they need to do, such as reattempting the reCAPTCHA verification. And by customizing error messages, you provide users with clearer instructions on what went wrong. For example, the message, please verify that you are not a robot to continue, is more user-friendly than a generic invalid reCAPTCHA. This improves the overall user experience by making the problem and solution easy to understand. And for the conclusion, in this assessment, we focused on integrating Google reCAPTCHA to secure Laravel forms against automated bot submissions. We covered the process of obtaining reCAPTCHA site and secret keys, integrating them into Laravel forms, and validating user responses. We also discussed the importance of updating the domain when moving from localhost to production, and how customizing error messages can improve user experience by providing clearer feedback for failed attempts. By implementing these practices, you can enhance both the security and user experience of your Laravel applications. Now let's head to the last topic of our presentation. The last topic or the final assessment is all about integrating OTP functionality in Laravel, enhancing user security with one-time passwords or OTPs. In this assessment, we will focus on integrating one-time password or OTP functionality into Laravel to enhance user security. OTPs provide an extra layer of protection for authentication, reducing the risk of unauthorized access. We will cover how to generate and send OTPs via email and SMS using Laravel and Twilio, as well as how to validate the OTP in the application. Additionally, we will explore customizing error messages and handling retry attempts to improve the user experience. By the end, you'll be equipped to implement OTPs effectively, ensuring both security and a smooth user experience in your Laravel applications. First question, what is the purpose of integrating OTP functionality into a Laravel application? And how does it enhance security for users? Integrating OTP or one-time password functionality into a Laravel application provides an additional layer of security during the user authentication process. OTPs are temporary, randomly generated codes that are sent to users, typically via email or SMS, and are valid only for a short period of time. By requiring users to enter an OTP along with their regular password, OTPs help ensure that even if a user's password is compromised, unauthorized users cannot gain access to the application without also having access to the OTP. The use of OTPs significantly improves security by providing two-factor authentication, which combines something the user knows with something the user has. Even if a password is exposed or stolen, attackers would still need the OTP to authenticate, making it far harder for unauthorized parties to access accounts. Second question, describe the process of generating and sending an OTP via email in Laravel, and what configuration steps are needed in the .env file to set up email functionality. In Laravel, to send an OTP via email, you would generate a random OTP and then send it through Laravel's mail system. The configuration for email sending needs to be set up in the .env file to define the mail server credentials which Laravel will use to send emails. The first step is to generate OTP, create a random number of or string to serve as the OTP. Second is to use Laravel's mail package to send the OTP to the user's email address. To send emails from your Laravel app, configure your email settings in the .env file. You can replace the placeholders with actual values based on your email provider. Once email configuration is set, you can use the following code to send an OTP. This ensures that the system can send OTPs via email to users, and the .env file sets up the necessary environment for sending emails. Third question. Explain how you can integrate an SMS OTP service using Twilio and Laravel, and what configurations are required in the .env file and the controller to send OTPs via SMS. To integrate an SMS OTP using Twilio and Laravel, you need to install the Twilio SDK and configure the necessary API keys in your .env file. Then you can use the Twilio API to send the OTP via SMS. The first step is to install the Twilio SDK. Run Composer require Twilio-SDK to install the Twilio SDK. Second one is .env configuration. Add Twilio credentials to the .env file. Third one, in your controller, use the Twilio API to send the OTP via SMS. The Twilio SDK allows you to communicate with Twilio's API for sending SMS messages. By configuring your Twilio SID and auth token in the .env file, you authenticate API requests to send OTPs to users' phone numbers. Fourth question. How can you handle OTP verification in Laravel? Describe the process of validating the OTP and the necessary steps to handle success or failure of the verification. Handling OTP verification in Laravel involves verifying the OTP provided by the user against a stored record in the database or session. Steps include validating user input, checking the OTP's validity, and handling success or failure. The first one is to accept the OTP from user input. This step ensures that users have a secure interface for submitting the OTP. Laravel CSR token adds a layer for protection, ensuring the request comes from a trusted source. Second is to validate the OTP input. Input validation prevents errors and potential attacks, such as injecting invalid data. Here, Laravel ensures the OTP follows the expected format, which is 6 numeric digits. Third one is to check OTP against the database or session. This step ensures the user provided OTP matches the stored one. It also verifies the OTP hasn't expired, adding an extra layer of security. And the last step is to handle success or failure. On success, redirect the user to the desired page or complete the action. While on failure, provide error messages for incorrect or expired OTPs. And for the last question, what are some key customization options available when handling OTPs, such as error messages or retry attempts? And how can this improve the user experience? Customizing OTP handling enhances user experience by making the process clear and secure. Key options include customizing error messages, limiting retries, and allowing OTP resends. The first one is customizing error messages. User-friendly messages help users understand issues with their input, reducing frustration. Second one is limit retry attempts. Rate limiting enhances a security by preventing attackers from guessing OTPs through repeated attempts. A temporary lock adds an additional safeguard. Third one is to allow OTP resends. Resend functionality prevents users from getting stuck if they don't receive the initial OTP, improving user satisfaction. The fourth one is implement retry cooldowns. Cooldowns prevent rapid retries, helping secure the system and encouraging users to proceed thoughtfully. And the next step is log suspicious activity. Logging helps administrators detect and respond to potential security threats, maintaining the system's integrity. For the conclusion of the last topic, integrating OTP functionality in Laravel enhances security by adding an extra layer of the authentication, ensuring that sensitive operations are protected from unauthorized access. The process of generating and sending and verifying OTPs is crucial in safeguarding user accounts. With tools like Laravel's validation and rate limiting providing additional security. Customizing OTP handling such as adjusting error messages, limiting retry attempts, and enabling OTP resends improves the user experience without compromising security. In conclusion, OTP integration in Laravel strengthens security while maintaining a smooth, user-friendly process, making it an essential feature for secure authentication in web applications. That brings us to the end of this presentation. We've covered important concepts related to form handling, security in web applications, Laravel's authentication system, CRUD operations, reCAPTCHA integration, and OTP functionalities. By applying these techniques, we can ensure secure, efficient, and scalable web applications. I hope this presentation has been helpful in giving you a deeper understanding of Laravel and its capabilities. If you have any questions or would like further clarification of any of the topics covered, feel free to reach out. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to your feedback.